Namaskar, it's 9:02 in the evening and you're watching News Night on DD India, channel of Billion Voices and Sakal Bhatt. Well, as a nation, 7 years ago, Nirbhaya rape and murder case not only shook the very conscience of the country, the massive outrage was converted into one big demand: speedy justice and strong deterrence for such rape cases. Now, 7 years on, the horrific rape and murder of 25-year-old Hyderabad-based doctor compels us to think. What has changed after Nirbhaya? And the government, remember, made stringent laws. But are these laws enough? That's what we ask and we think. And today, Hyderabad rape case, remember viewers, reverberated in Indian Parliament, drawing most strong responses, most strong interventions, cutting across entire political spectrum. And on News Night on DD India tonight, we take a closer look, a deeper look at the state of women's safety, the big picture. But first up on the show on DD India, here are the headlines for our viewers. An outraged nation demanded justice in the Hyderabad case. MPs condemn Hyderabad incident in one voice, demand swift death penalty. Centre says it is ready to amend IPC and CRPC to ensure speedy justice. Rajya Sabha chairman suggests rethink on allowing convicts in heinous crimes to go in for mercy appeals. Truck driver held for raping, killing 6-year-old girl in Tong district in Rajasthan. Police say the crime was committed by an acquaintance on Saturday. Lok Sabha passes Taxation Laws Amendment Bill with 4 government amendments. Bill aims at reducing corporate taxes. Parliament passes bill to ban e-cigarettes. BJP demands apology from Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary for his controversial remarks. India and Sweden inked 3 agreements in the fields of polar research, science and technology and seafaring in the presence of President Ramnath Kovind and Swedish royal couple King Carl XVI Gustaf and Queen of Sweden also call on Prime Minister Modi discuss ways to deepen ties as well as strengthening Innovation Connect. Also, from pole-bound Jharkhand, campaigning picks up for the second phase. BJP President Amit Shah holds 2 rallies, mounts attack on Congress, questions Congress rule of 70 years. Rahul Gandhi also holds rally in Simdega, reiterates loan waiver promise. Down south in Tamil Nadu, rain wreaks havoc in several parts of southern India. 27 lives claimed in Tamil Nadu, including 17 in a wall collapse incident. Meanwhile, Chief Minister takes stock of situation. Met Department predicts moderate to heavy showers in the next 48 hours. And Prime Minister Modi writes an emotional message to 26/11's Israeli survivor Moshe on his coming-of-age ceremony. Prime Minister describes the story as a miracle which continues to inspire everyone. Recalls his meeting with Moshe way back in 2017. So viewers, the outrage over the horrific rape and murder case was taken up in Indian Parliament today in political corridors as well. But the anger spilled over the streets of Delhi, national capital, also Mumbai, and also we saw protests in various parts of Karnataka. Meanwhile, National Human Rights Commission has expressed not only deep concern over these rising, disturbing incidents of sexual assault, but NHRC has also pulled up centre and state and union territories by issuing notices and also calling reports on SOP, that is standard operating procedures, to deal with such cases, and also what has happened as far as Nirbhaya Fund is concerned. In fact, here is a comprehensive report how the issue of speedy justice and strong rape deterrence has become now a national talking point.
The horrific gang rape and murder case of Hyderabad-based veterinary doctor has left the entire nation outraged. This set of visuals that you see on your screens speaks volumes of the escalating anger across the country. The Hyderabad-based doctor's gruesome rape serves as a grim reminder of the Nirbhaya case and murder that shook the conscience of the country 7 years ago. And the spillover of this anger onto the streets of Hyderabad and Delhi was visible on Monday. There were massive protests staged in Hyderabad demanding most stringent action against the culprits. Over in Delhi, Jantar Mantar became the flashpoint, with protesters wearing black bands and holding placards displaying their demands: speedy justice and hang the rapists.
हमारे सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक रेपिस्ट के ऊपर कब होंगे? करते हैं रेप, करके भाग जाते हैं, पूरा जुडिशियली सिस्टम चलता रहता है, 4-4, 5-5 साल हो जाते हैं, किसी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता।
जब मैं कॉलेज से घर आती हूँ तो मुझे पता है कैसा अनसेफ फील होता है। We want justice.
Palpable anger was also visible on the streets of Mumbai. Mumbaikars demanded speedy justice for the Hyderabad rape victim. There were raging protests in various parts of Karnataka. In Bengaluru and Kalburgi, members of the women's outfit AIMSS took to the streets and condemned the Hyderabad rape incident.
We are demanding security and safety. We want a safe society. It is not only the women, the whole public wants it. Our demand is certainty of the punishment and stringent punishment.
Meanwhile, Telangana DGP reviewed the probe thus far. He has asked the police to ensure time-bound investigation. The police has requested the Law Ministry to set up a fast-track court to try the 4 accused, seeking maximum punishment for the perpetrators of the gruesome rape. Police sought 10 days custody of the 4 people arrested in connection with the heinous crime for interrogation. Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao had earlier on Sunday announced setting up of a fast-track court for expeditious trial and assured all help to the family of the victim.
जल्दी से जल्दी सज़ा मिलना चाहिए. इसके लिए स्टेट गवर्नमेंट पूरा तैयार करे. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा जो भी हम हेल्प चाहिए पूरे देने को हम तैयार है. जितना जल्दी हो सकते हैं उसका सजा मिलना चाहिए. यही हमारा केंद्र सरकार का हमारा दृष्टिकोण है.
The charred body of the 25-year-old woman who worked as an assistant veterinarian at a state-run hospital was found under a culvert in Shadnagar on November 28th, a day after she went missing. In this connection, 4 men aged between 20 and 24 years were arrested on the 29th of November on charges of raping and killing the woman. They had been sent to judicial custody for 14 days on Saturday earlier. In yet another horrific incident, a brutal rape and murder of a 6-year-old girl in Rajasthan's Tonk district has also surfaced. The girl reportedly had gone to school on Saturday and did not return till late. Her family members started looking for her and found the body at an isolated place in Kheldi village of Aligarh town, according to the police.
जिसने भी एक कृत्य कारित किया है तो कातिलों को सख्त से सख्त जल्द से जल्द सलाखों के पीछे उसको पहुंचाया जाए. स्पेशल टीमें गठित करी गई, टास्क बांटे गए, इनपुट मिले, जनता से भी मिले और उसके बाद हमने ये इसको 24 घंटे में अरेस्ट किया है. और हम अब आश्वस्त करते हैं कि जो एविडेंस हैं इसके खिलाफ वो पुख्ता फाइल पे लिए जाएंगे ताकि बहुत जल्द से जल्द इसको सख्त से सख्त सजा.
Meanwhile, the war cry to bring to justice such perpetrators of crime refuses to die across the country. With inputs from Hyderabad Bureau, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
So the gruesome gang rape and murder of Hyderabad doctor was vociferously also raised in the parliament today. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu called the incidence of rape as a societal weakness and called for revisiting these laws, and it's a very important point. He also spoke against arguments put forth by those MPs who earlier argued that juvenile rapists do not realize the gravity of such crime. Meanwhile, in Rajya Sabha, lawmakers cutting across party lines condemned the gruesome act and called for stricter laws, stringent laws against perpetrators. Today, entire parliament spoke in one voice. Deterrent, and a very strong deterrent in such rape cases. And this is what happened in parliament today. Our report.
Outrage over the heinous Hyderabad rape and murder case played out in Parliament on Monday. Both houses saw members speaking out against the crime and making suggestions to ensure safety for women as well as speedy justice. In Rajya Sabha, the chairman received a notice from some MPs seeking a discussion on the incident, which he allowed. As MPs expressed anguish over the Hyderabad rape and murder case, M. Venkaiah Naidu suggested a rethink on the practice of allowing convicts in heinous crimes to go in for mercy pleas.
केवल कानून बनाने से ही काम नहीं होगा, ये सबको मालूम है. और सजा देने के बाद भी क्या हो रहा है हम लोग देख रहे. तो वो भी एक पहलू सामने आया. Appeal, mercy. Can anybody think of having mercy to such people? And why? Because of some practice is there for years together. That process, and then state government to appeal, then next central government to appeal, then home ministry, then president, all these things. We should really think about it.
MPs cutting across party lines condemned the incident in one voice. In the upper house, while BJP's Bhupendra Yadav called for introspection and reforms in society, several MPs suggested fast-tracking of all courts, considering the huge pendency of cases. Some even advocated for capital punishment in the Hyderabad case.
इस बीमारी को जड़ से खत्म करने के लिए पूरे देश, पूरे समाज को खड़ा होना होगा और हर लेवल पे खड़ा होना होगा और हर जगह प्रचार होना चाहिए।
महिला सुरक्षा, महिला अधिकार, ये सब हमारे राजनीतिक संकल्पों में भी व्यक्त होने चाहिए और इसलिए समाज की मानसिकता बदलने में हम सब लोग आगे बढ़कर के इन सारे प्रश्नों को मूल प्रश्न बनाकर इस पर सब मिलकर के कार्य करें।
जो घटना हैदराबाद में हुई उसके पहले दिन भी उसी जगह एक हादसा हुआ। क्या वहाँ के जो सिक्योरिटी इंचार्ज हैं, मैं किसी का नाम नहीं ले रही हूँ, आपको भी पता है, do you not think that they should be answered? They should be questioned and they should be asked to give an answer?
India should now open up and see that 4 people who indulged in this heinous crime should be hanged before 31st of December. Fast track court should be immediately and daily hearing should be there and they have to be hanged before December 31st.
In Lok Sabha, the Speaker expressed anger and despair on the issue. He said that the House can take up a discussion on it.
भारत की संसद ऐसी घटनाओं को लेकर हमेशा चिंतित रही है और सरकार ने भी इस विषय पर सभी राज्यों में और देश के अंदर भी किसी भी हिस्से में घटी घटना पर कठोर कार्रवाई हो, ऐसा सदन को अवगत कराया है।
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh too condemned the crime and said that the government is ready to do whatever it takes to ensure safety of women and speedy justice.
सदन में चाहे किसी भी दल से संबंधित हमारे सदस्य हों, सबने इस घटना की जहां भर्त्सना की है, वहीं पर यह भी अपेक्षा की है कि इसमें जो भी अपराधी है उसे कठोर से कठोर दंड दिया जाना चाहिए। इस प्रकार की घटना के लिए जो भी जिम्मेदार है, जो भी अपराधी हैं, उनके खिलाफ कठोरतम कार्रवाई करने के लिए जो भी प्राविजन करना होगा, यह सरकार वह प्राविजन करने को तैयार है।
MPs from both the Treasury and opposition benches joined voice with the government on this issue, even calling for the death penalty.
रेप के बाद सब जो महिला सब बाहर जाने के लिए डरता है, लेकिन जो रेपिस्ट है वो बाहर जाने के लिए नहीं डरता है क्योंकि कानून उसको डराता नहीं है।
We support the government. I condemn it. I today hang my head in shame that we live in a society which has such kind of people, and I think they must be taught a lesson.
There is no point of a fast track court, there is no point of a conviction if the ultimate deterrent of hanging is not handed out expeditiously. This House must speak in one voice on non-partisan, non-political lines.
Meanwhile, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Empowerment of Women will meet on the 4th and the 5th of December. The committee will interact with representatives of Twitter and Facebook to discuss ways to ensure cyber safety and security for women. With Parliament Team, News Night Desk, DD India.
So is there a very stringent need to revisit or re-look at these laws? Let's now take a closer look at the steps taken by the government, and we also ask, as we go through these important steps, are these steps a deterrent enough? Now, Nirbhaya Fund, remember, was raised, in fact, created immediately for Women's Safety Project. That was one of the important steps taken by the government, including investigations of tracking system for sexual offences. These are the steps that the government took post Nirbhaya case, in fact, shook the entire conscience of the nation. And it also talked about that these, in fact, systems and institutions should be in sync with the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2018. Talking more about the steps taken by the government, National Database on Sexual Offenders was also set up. Emergency Response Support System was also created. Was that implemented or not? Well, that's the big question. Emergency number 112 to track distress calls to ensure that there is instant response to such cases was also set up. Also, universalization of Women Helpline to provide, and this was supposedly a 24 hours emergency number. Well, all these numbers are in place, but in that case, why do we have rise in such incidents. Mahila police volunteers in states and union territories were also established, and they were primarily there to act as a link coordination between police and community. Let's move on and talk more about the steps that were taken post Nirbhaya. Cyber crime portal was also set up to report obscene content in social media or online. In fact, cybercrime forensic laboratories were also set up in states, in union territories to detect and identify such crimes, including strengthening of DNA analysis units, forensic science labs. This, in fact, was also supposed to be set up in various states and union territories. And also, not to forget the smart policing and safe city projects. There was a fund that was sanctioned to have such projects. In fact, in the pilot project, some states were identified. Also, now, this is important, viewers. We will quickly take a look at the set of advisories issued by Ministry of Home Affairs to different state governments, union territories for thorough investigation and quick response. There was a set of advisories from the MHA. There was also a voluminous 644-page Verma committee report which looked at reviewing criminal laws, and it also suggested certain amendments. But the question is, what changed after Nirbhaya on ground? The rape cases, in fact, was there a considerable decline, or the cases were on rise? Now let's talk about the reforms to law on rape. Headline reforms in 2013 Amendment Act about rape. This is something which did happen on ground when it comes to Nirbhaya rape case. But then if you take a closer look at those reforms, it was actually up to the court's discretion to give rapists a sentence. The buck stopped with the court to decide the quantum of punishment. Less than 7 years of imprisonment was abolished, and stricter punishments were put in place. Separate punishments for repeat offenders was also one of the very, very strong points of these reforms, including fast-track courts to conduct trials on day-to-day basis and on daily basis. But did the states actually follow this in toto? We will examine. Trials to be completed within 2 months of the charge sheet. So basically, there was a deadline set up. Well, that was a very important recommendation. How many states did actually follow this? Under sections 35(4) AD, again very important, stalking, voyeurism, unwanted sexual advances and touches are also now offences under rape, quote unquote. Let's move on and talk more about what changed after Nirbhaya. Rape punishment increased from 7 to 10 years. But now we ask, is 10 years enough? Is 10 years sufficient? Victim less than 12 years, minimum 10 years and maximum life imprisonment or death sentence was the punishment accorded. Victim between 12 to 16 years of age, minimum punishment of 20 years and maximum life imprisonment. We ask, is there again a need to revisit all this? Victims between 16 years and above, minimum punishment 10 years and maximum again life imprisonment. We are talking about the stringent punishments that were put in place, and also important, death penalty for rape cases under rarest of rarest category. But the question here is that when we talk about rarest of rare category, what are the quantas of rarest of rare category? Well, that's a debatable topic. We're going to talk about all this in detail. We have panelists on this episode of News Night tonight, but we're going to take a very, very short break. On the other side, this is what we talk. Do we have deterrents that are sufficient? Is it not the right time and the high time that the responsibility and accountability now needs to be fixed? Who takes the buck? On the other side, we'll discuss. And DD India is your voice. And we ask, deterrents aren't enough, then what is really the need of the hour? We do have a political consensus. We saw, reviewers, how this issue in fact panned out in the parliament today. Well, the opposition benches, most of them were with the government. But what is it when we talk about repositioning and rethinking? On the show tonight, we have with us Rekha Agarwal, senior advocate, joining us on this News Night show. Yogita Bhayana, social activist, and also Ellen Rao, former DCP, Delhi Police. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us on the show. In fact, Yogita, I would like to start with you, Yogita. Remember 7 years back, in fact, you were one such very, very prominent face or voice associated with the kind of activism we saw, and the entire nation was raised. I'm talking about Nirbhaya. And at that point in time, remember, I as a reporter also covered this story very, very comprehensively along with my colleagues. And remember, we talked about death penalty then. And today, we have this case in Hyderabad. We cannot forget what happened in Tonk in Rajasthan. Are we still mulling over death penalty and questions surrounding that? You can come up with the opening remarks, and we go to the other panelists.
We are back to square one, Sakal. I remember the very day that you were there reporting, but as you know, outraged as a woman also, you were reporting with a lot of emotions. I was there protesting, leading a lot of youth, youngsters. You know, we were feeling the pain of Nirbhaya in December itself. And we really had hopes against the hopes that yes, this time the reforms will be done and there will not be even a single case. We had that kind of high hope from the current government.
That never happened.
That never happened.
Ellen Rao, I'm coming to you. So that never happened. What has
that.
changed? Let's be very realistic, and if you could just give us an objective view. In fact, what has changed? Has anything really moved on ground in terms of deterrent? Look what has happened in Hyderabad, in Tonk, and in fact, we've seen many horrific cases in the last 7 years. On similar lines, sir.
There are a lot of changes after Nirbhaya's. So far this law is concerned, it was changed. After that, there was a commission inquiry was there, and after that, even last year also the criminal amendment bill was also passed, and the quantum of punishment in such type of cases was increased. But it's very sad that the quantum of punishment has not been finally done to the Nirbhaya accused person still now, the convict, you can say. In the investigation process, that also has been changed, that to motivate the police officers who are investigating these type of cases, and to sensitize them to be more sympathetic about the women victims. And there is definitely a change in Delhi itself, because there is a women help desk.
Policing is one portion of it. I'm going to go to Rekha Agarwal as a lawyer. How do you really look at it? I mean, just by increasing quantum, do you think that's just the one-stop solution, or there needs to be more to it?
To be very candid and frank, though the laws have changed, the law has been amended after the Nirbhaya episode took place in 2012, and the punishments have increased. Section 354 has been amended, Section 376 has been amended.
Really declined?
But
they
no,
diminished.
The cases haven't diminished, and at the same time, I would say there's a big reporting now also. There was earlier a big stigma attached to it, and now many more girls are just coming out of the closet. Many more victims are willing to report. But it is very, very disturbing. And if I'll be very, very candid, I'll again say that though the punishment has increased, though the law has become even more stricter, more vaster, the definition of rape has become very vast.
We again have a chorus for death penalty.
There is no deterrent till yet.
Come up with this human rights narrative. I mean, in fact, Yogita, if you could just quickly get in there. Whenever we talk about capital punishment, death penalty, then you have the human rights bandwagon coming up and talking about human rights violations, etc. Do you think that is something which is really cutting ice with the people? Because see, today we've had protests in Delhi, we had in various parts of Karnataka, in Mumbai, and I think this is only going to escalate.
Absolutely. See, as Mr. Rao also pointed out, we have not hanged Nirbhaya's accused even now after so much.
It took us so many years.
Yes, still not. They're not hanged as of now. We don't know when that will happen. I don't know how many months, how many years to go more. But if we don't set up the example, what are we expecting? And those so-called human rights activists, those who you against the capital punishment, I need to ask, what about the rights of the victim? I mean, we have lost our daughters. Like Nirbhaya was one such case came in the limelight, and Dr. Priyanka Reddy is one of them. We have dealt cases. Mr. Rao will tell you. Last year itself in Delhi, rarest brutality happened. But what about you?
You deal with victims, counselling them, and also reporting. You, in fact, personally, you've made it sure that charge sheets are filed. If you could discuss with Ellen Rao, do you see any change as far as the police response to such cases, the way they are dealing with it, quick response to such cases? Do you see any improvement there?
Do I need to say more?
Yes.
Sakal, we have seen in Hyderabad case also how police dealt with this particular case. I mean, I'm so sorry if related to police, there are changes, but very gradual, not the way we have to hammer it. That's why the governments are having a major role to play. The police sensitization is not enough the way it should be.
That's part of one of the provisions, Mr.
It is just that. I'm sorry, it is not.
The provisions are already set in place.
But the provisions don't have to rest in the government files,
implementation is not properly being done.
And that's the point. I'll come to you. I'll come to you. Please finish your point.
Sensitization with the police officers who are dealing with such type of sensational cases, and their sympathy towards the victim, that should be
but that's not something which can be taught.
That is not there. That needs to be seen by the supervisory level officers. And I was doing a case with
let me come
in that case, it was reported that there was the police was not so much sensitive.
So are you saying that sensitizing police officers is the need of the hour? I mean, is that your point, priority number one?
Yes, definitely.
I mean, if you have cases like what we have seen in Rajasthan and in Hyderabad, I mean, we need to have quick responses,
and also
and the quick response is something which was lacking. Now that is not something which can be taught to a police officer.
No. As you have seen, that jurisdiction issue was there in Hyderabad.
So that's the point.
The instructions are already there.
So
that you have to lodge a zero FIR wherever that is reported, irrespective of the
so it had not reached
victim does not know where the jurisdiction issue.
In the case of Asaram Bapu, this concept of zero FIR had become very popular, because even at that time the police did not want to register an FIR on the ground that the crime had taken place in Jodhpur. But since it was very soon after the Nirbhaya case, it was one of the rare cases when the police actually did their work and they registered a zero FIR. And one thing I would want to clarify over here, that while we are discussing Nirbhaya, and we are repeatedly talking various channels that the Nirbhaya culprits have not been hanged till yet. But I would like to clarify one thing over here for the viewers, that Nirbhaya killer culprits have got the punishment of being hanged, not because they committed rape, but because ultimately the rape resulted in death. So they have been punished for life by hanging, capital punishment, only in the 302, not under 376. So even ML Verma committee did not recommend death punishment as a deterrent, because it's only the rarest of rare cases that it can be done. But at the time, the Justice Verma committee, Justice Verma committee was not recommending death punishment as a deterrent.
Why are we shying? I mean, the natural question is, why are we shying when it comes to talking openly and debating openly when it comes to death penalty, capital punishment in such cases? I mean, what really defines rarest of rare cases? Is it necessary for a victim to actually die? And that is something which falls under the ambit of rarest of rare cases. Could that be a solution? And if that is the solution we are looking at, I think it's extremely shocking.
If I may just answer that one. Yeah. In fact, as our constitution is concerned and Indian Penal Code is concerned, capital punishment is there. But there have been lots of pros and cons to that, as whether it actually acts as a deterrent, even in the case of murder. So in one case of murder, a person may get life imprisonment or he may just get capital punishment. So what is actually the yardstick or benchmark for deciding that who gets capital punishment and who doesn't is what is called quote unquote rarest of rare. Now again, that depends from case to case upon the intensity with which the crime has been committed.
I remember,
so all those things and the sensitivity of the judge.
In fact, I remember, Yogita Cummings at the time of Nirbhaya. Nirbhaya's case reverberated in Parliament then, and we had one of the most strongest voices, women voices in the Parliament, talking about stringent action. Late Sushma Swaraji, in fact, Smriti Irani also spoke, Jaya Bachchan, everybody spoke then, and even today, we've seen similar patterns.
Yes,
do we have to wait 7 years? And I mean,
yes, here is the point.
Yes, so
we have to work for the preventive actions. If what happens if something has happened and then a life has been lost and then we are beating about the bush, why we can't stop? Why we can't prevent all these type of heinous cases to commit? So there should be a need with the police as well as with the administration, and the government should find ways and means how to prevent this type of cases.
Let's call spade a spade, sir.
Yeah.
What do you mean there has to be something? Pull up the officers, suspend officers,
accountability has to be
dismiss them
fixed
immediately with immediate effect. And we've seen, in fact, in some parts of UP, if I may remember correctly, junior level officers, constables are transferred and they are removed.
Yes.
Is that something which can set a deterrent?
No, it's not sufficient.
We set examples at the top level. Let some heads roll, Ryogita Bhayana.
Absolutely, Sakal. Accountability has to be fixed. This is what we asked during in 2016 or 2012. We asked the same thing. Fix the accountability from bottom up, top down,
to the top.
both. I mean, you just can't make one scapegoat to a constable and just.
So we have these recommendations.
Absolutely, even till the judiciary, to the ministry.
Why is it that? I mean, first of all, do you think these recommendations? I mean, they sound strong and stringent, but what do we lack when it comes to implementing them? There are no checks and balances.
I think there's no will. I think the biggest problem is that there is no will at every level.
Okay.
And I will not blame just the police or just the administration or just the judiciary. I think it is a cumulative and holistic approach we have to take to this crime.
What will wake us up?
I think the first thing, as Mr. Rao also talked about,
Yes.
we have to talk about preventive measures. So I think that until every person of society is sensitized, let our children be sensitized in the homes, let there be education, let there be sex education, even in police jobs or even in the judiciary or a public prosecutors. So until we change the entire society, we cannot fix responsibility by saying that, okay, the laws are not good enough, the police has not done its job, this person comes from a poor background or a poor economic or rural background. So until we look within ourselves, the change has to come from within. So I think that until we take a cumulative step ahead and realize that it is a big national crime, a national calamity that we are facing now.
What will trigger this change for it? This is a very, what will it take for such perpetrators to realize that they're not supposed to do it, the gravity of such crimes? I mean, there has to be something more to that. We're not going to wait for their moral conscience to actually wake up. As a distinguished police officer, are we doing enough?
That fear of law and the fear of police
knowledge is not
must be there on the mind of the perpetrators. Unless that fear exists in their mind, I think they will not be going to stop all these criminal activities, and that fear will definitely be when the police and the judiciary will be doing their fast track, and definitely the fast track courts are there, but you can see the amount of work in the courts, and the courts are so heavily burdened with the with the trial of cases, and investigation officers are also burdened. But in Nirbhaya's case, I must compliment to the team which they have. That was a totally blind case, and that with the evidence they have worked out this case in a very time-bound case, and that investigation was also done in a time-bound case.
Has a point here.
Yes,
it was because it was a pressure from the society and from the protesters. Otherwise, trust me, sir, we deal with such cases on day-to-day basis.
Yes.
That was a case where people outraged, and that they made them to perform, sir. But we need to take it on a mission mode. As Sakal was saying, what is the way forward? Way forward is that our government, our Prime Minister should take it as a mission that we need to stop this, and let's bifurcate it: mid-term goal, urgent goal, and short-term goals. I mean, long-term goals.
Let's take a look at these graphics. This is not a really good picture. It's a dismal picture when we talk about the rise in crime rate, crime against women. I mean, the graph is fluctuating, but nowhere the graph is going down.
Yes, it has only risen up.
It's only risen up, and
this down was the conviction rate.
Point. If that is not alarming, then what is alarming?
That is the reason the conviction rate is so low that the perpetrators don't have a fear of law in their mind.
So we coming back to the same point, that the lack of deterrence,
the lack of knowledge. If I may just add over here to what Mr. Rao said, that it is only when a case of the magnitude of Nirbhaya gets reported, or Dr. Priyanka's case gets reported. Each case is horrific in itself. what Nirbhaya went through.
No, but such cases are confined to media reports.
Yes, that is the most unfortunate. That is most unfortunate.
They become statistics. I'm sorry,
Yes.
but Nirbhaya today is statistics.
Yes, that is the most unfortunate part.
Today when we talk about what happened in
So we talk about
Hyderabad.
Nirbhaya, and I think after 7 years we'll be talking of Dr. Priyanka's case as a benchmark. You know, that will be the take-off point. So I have been repeatedly speaking in all the channels that the common man, you know, he reads about Nirbhaya or sees about Nirbhaya on the TV, but then he forgets about that. The public memory is very short. So we have to increase knowledge and the fear of law on a daily basis at a ground level. Let there be nukkad nataks, let there be education in school, let there be education in colleges, let there be
punishment,
yes.
let there be fear of law,
yes.
let the perpetrators think thrice and 4 times before even going ahead and doing something like that.
Absolutely.
That's called deterrence.
That's the very important.
Yes, that's called deterrence. Well, we have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much all of you for joining us on the show tonight. Rekha Agarwal, Yogita Bhayana and also Ellen Rao. Let's move on and also take a look at what happened in Parliament today. More on parliamentary proceedings. Prohibition of electronic cigarettes bill 2019 was passed in Rajya Sabha today. Also discussion on several legislative issues took place in both houses of Parliament today. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman moved the Taxation Laws Amendment Bill 2019 for the consideration and also passage in Lok Sabha. She also added that the bill, this particular bill, was aimed at attracting more investments and also creating conducive atmosphere for more job opportunities.
Discussion on several legislative issues took place in both houses of Parliament on Monday. Prohibition of electronic cigarettes bill 2019 was passed in the Rajya Sabha. It has already been passed by the Lok Sabha. While the Lok Sabha discussed the Taxation Laws Amendment Bill, both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha witnessed ruckus over comments made by Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. In the Lok Sabha, the BJP demanded Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary take back his controversial remarks on Prime Minister Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah. The BJP also sought unconditional apology from him. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi said the remarks hurt the soul of the constitution. The minister said Congress leader termed Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah as infiltrators, and this was an insult to the voters. As Prime Minister Modi is not just the leader of a party, but he is the Prime Minister of the country.
कांग्रेस पार्टी के नेतृत्व, आज के दिन का नेतृत्व कहाँ से है, कौन घुसपैठी है, वो तो अधीर रंजन चौधरी ठीक तरह से समझ ना पाइए. अगर कुछ भी कांग्रेस पार्टी में सेंस है तो he should unconditionally apologize.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman moved the Taxation Laws Amendment Bill 2019 for consideration and passage in the Lok Sabha. The bill seeks to replace the ordinance that was promulgated by the President in September. The government, through the ordinance, reduced the corporate tax rate from 30% to 22% and for new manufacturing companies to 15%. Sitharaman said the government's decision to reduce corporate tax rate was aimed at attracting investment and creating jobs. The companies opting for lower tax rates, however, will not be entitled to claim any rebate or deductions.
Whilst we're talking about the taxation cut, an ordinance which is getting replaced by a bill, we had to come up quickly with the development globally being what it is, with the trade war between China and US creating a situation, with the emerging economies coming rapidly with changed taxation, we had to come in response. And therefore, I didn't have to wait for the next budget. But now, the earliest opportunity that I have come with the bill to replace the ordinance, seeking all your support for a step which will make India a far more investment-friendly destination.
The government said there is no proposal to reduce taxes on petrol and diesel. Finance Minister told the Lok Sabha that nowhere in the world do the prices of petrol and diesel remain steady for a particular period of time. She said there is an increase of 5% in the gross direct tax collection till November this fiscal, adding that the government has maintained tight fiscal discipline.
Fiscal deficit between 14 and 15 was 4.10, 3.90, 16-17, 3.50, 3.50 again, 3.40 in 18-19, 3.68 on an average. We have managed to keep the fiscal discipline completely intact and maintain the average figure well under 4% all the while.
Prohibition of Electronic Cigarettes Bill 2019 was passed in the Rajya Sabha. It has already been passed by the Lok Sabha. The members supported the bill but also expressed concern at the rising cases of deaths due to consumption of tobacco and demanded more measures to be taken by the government. Union Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said that there is a need to take steps to prohibit tobacco altogether.
Together we should work to ensure that we do some good scientific research, and also we work to develop some alternate mechanisms for those farmers who are involved in the tobacco farming. I'll be the happiest man in this country when we will see the day when every tobacco product or cigarette will be banned totally.
Leaders of various parties raised many issues in the Rajya Sabha, including expensive treatment in private hospitals, adverse impact of chemicals in fertilizers and manure, and other issues of public importance. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said in the Rajya Sabha that the strike by trade unions of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited was in the process of being called off following meetings between the management and the labour union, and a pact in this regard is likely to be signed on 5th December. With inputs from Parliament team, News Night Desk, DD India.
Moving on, King Carl XVI Gustaf of Sweden and Queen Silvia are on a 5-day state visit to India. Trade, investment, renewable energy, environment and climate change figured prominently in bilateral talks today on day one between Prime Minister Modi and Carl XVI Gustaf. The bigger takeaway of day one was the exchange of dialogue on innovation policy between India and Sweden. We get you more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcoming King Carl XVI Gustaf of Sweden and Queen Silvia at Hyderabad House on a 5-day state visit to India. The Prime Minister warmly received the royal couple and then held delegation-level talks with them. The two leaders discussed in detail all issues of mutual interest and importance, including trade and investment, renewable energy, environment and climate change. PM Modi and Carl XVI Gustaf agreed to increase cooperation on issues of bilateral, regional and global importance. There was also a high-level dialogue on innovation policy between the two countries. PM Modi shared India's progress in the field of innovation, having gained worldwide acclaim in the last few years.
Research and innovation, science and technology किसी भी राष्ट्र के सशक्तिकरण के बेसिक टूल होते हैं। इसलिए भारत साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी इकोसिस्टम को और शक्तिशाली बनाने पर निरंतर काम कर रहा है। बीते कुछ वर्षों से जो कदम हमने उठाए हैं उससे भारत ने इनोवेशन की दुनिया में अपनी स्थिति मजबूत की है। हमारे इन्हीं प्रयासों का परिणाम है कि बीते 3 साल में ग्लोबल इनोवेशन इंडेक्स में हम 81 से 52वें रैंक पर पहुंच गए हैं। आज भारत दुनिया का तीसरा सबसे सक्सेसफुल स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम बन चुका है। फ्रेंड्स, भारत में इनोवेशन सिस्टम को हम प्रोसेस ड्रिवन बनाने के बजाय पर्पस ड्रिवन बना रहे हैं। हमारा ध्यान अफोर्डेबिलिटी और एक्सेसिबिलिटी पर है।
The Prime Minister said that the Startup India initiative has become a powerful engine for creating unicorns in the country.
स्टार्टअप इंडिया अभियान भारत में यूनिकॉर्न्स के निर्माण के लिए नए पावरफुल इंजन के रूप में काम कर रहा है। इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी प्रोटेक्शन से लेकर टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए फंडिंग और टैक्स में छूट से स्टार्टअप्स के लिए आगे बढ़ना और आसान हुआ है। स्टार्टअप्स की फंडिंग के लिए भारत सरकार ने $100 मिलियन का एक फंड ऑफ फंड्स बनाया है। शेयर्ड प्रैक्टिस से शेयर्ड सक्सेस और इससे शेयर्ड प्रॉस्पेरिटी अन्य देशों के साथ भारत के संबंधों को और मजबूत करते हैं। हम स्वीडन के साथ इनोवेशन के क्षेत्र में अपने सहयोग को बहुत महत्व देते हैं। मैं इस डायलॉग की सफलता के लिए दोनों देशों की टीम को धन्यवाद देता हूं।
The two countries had signed a joint innovation partnership during Prime Minister Modi's visit to Sweden on the 17th of April last year. The India-Sweden High-Level Innovation Policy Dialogue, a high-level platform for exchange of ideas, began on Monday. The royal couple met President Ramnath Kovind in the evening. 3 agreements in the fields of polar research, science and technology and seafaring were exchanged in the presence of President Ramnath Kovind and the King of Sweden. Earlier in the day, President Ramnath Kovind received the royal couple at Rashtrapati Bhavan. They were given a ceremonial guard of honor. First thing in the morning, the royal couple went to Rajghat to pay homage to the memory of Mahatma Gandhi. The King of Sweden shared his thoughts in the visitor's book. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar also called on King Gustav and Queen Sylvia and discussed ways to further strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries. The royal couple also visited Jama Masjid and Gandhi Smriti. This is King Gustav's third visit to India. Relations between the two countries have strengthened over the years. With inputs from Amritpal Singh, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sweden King His Majesty Carl XVI Gustaf today inaugurated India-Sweden high-level dialogue on innovation policy in national capital. Now, this dialogue aimed to jointly formulate and implement short and long-term projects in strategic areas such as circular economy, digital health, artificial intelligence, sustainable energy and future mobility. A bilateral project was also announced during the dialogue pertaining to convert agriculture waste into biocoal. The energy plant established in Mohali in collaboration with Sweden would convert agriculture into bioenergy.
To address the issue of stubble burning in northern India, the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India has been working to identify sustainable solutions. One identified technology, converting agri-waste to biocoal, is currently being piloted at the National Agri-Food Biotechnology Institute in Punjab through a partnership with BioEnder from Sweden. This plant converts paddy straw into high-energy biocoal. The current pilot unit has the potential to convert 150 kg of agri-waste per hour into energy-efficient and clean biocoal, which has an energy potential of 15,000 megawatts, reducing CO2 emissions by 95% and providing numerous other tangible benefits. The planned scale-up model for the plant will have the potential to convert 2 tons of paddy straw every hour, a great example of Indo-Swedish collaboration for sustainable global development.
Well, in a moving message, Prime Minister Modi has congratulated Moshe, the Israeli boy who survived 26/11 Mumbai attacks, on his coming-of-age ceremony. Prime Minister wrote, and I quote, "As you make this important transition and cross a significant landmark in the journey of your life, the courage of Sandra and prayers of the people of India will continue to bless you for a long, healthy and successful life." Unquote. Bar Mitzvah is a ceremony performed for Jewish boys at the age of 13. The youngster turned 13 on November 28th. Prime Minister's message was read out by Sanjeev Singla, India's ambassador to Israel. The Prime Minister said that the perpetrators of the cowardly terror attack in Mumbai clearly failed in their intent. Moshe was a 2-year-old toddler when his parents were killed in the terror attacks at Nariman House by Pakistani terrorists. The boy, standing and crying between his dead parents' bodies, was saved in a daring move by his nanny, Sandra Samuels. The Prime Minister said, and I quote, "Your story continues to inspire everyone. It is one of the miracle and hope, overcoming tragedy and immeasurable loss." Unquote. The Prime Minister went on and recalled his meeting with Moshe during his trip to Israel in July 2017. He expressed hope that his wish to return to Mumbai as a director of the Chabad House comes true. Shifting focus to poll-bound Jharkhand, where hectic campaigning has gained a lot of momentum for the second phase, which is to be held on 7th of December. 20 assembly constituencies are in the fray in phase 2, which includes Jamshedpur East, Jamshedpur West, Chaibasa, Kunti and Simdega. These are the constituencies which will also go to polls. BJP is pitted against Congress and the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha JMM, making it direct contest between the BJP and the JMM Congress-led alliance, which also includes Rashtriya Janata Dal, a smaller player in the state.
Soon after the first phase of Jharkhand elections got over, political parties have started campaigning for the rest of the phases of elections. Leaders of various political parties are holding rallies and seeking votes for their candidates. BJP National President and Union Home Minister Amit Shah held 2 rallies in the state and appealed to voters to vote for the incumbent Raghubar Das government. He addressed a public meeting at Chakradharpur and said previous governments have failed to provide stability because they lacked a clear mandate. He also said people have to choose between option of Naxalism or development, adding that the Raghubar Das-led government has eradicated Naxalism in the state. Amit Shah took a dig at the opposition camp. He said parties that exploit tribals, indulge in graft worth crores of rupees and buy and sell poll tickets could never work for Jharkhand's development.
कि जो पार्टियां टिकट बांटने में खरीद फरोख्त करती हो, जो पार्टियां आदिवासियों का शोषण करती हो, जो पार्टियां झारखंड की रत्ना के विरोधी हो, जो पार्टियां अरबों खरबों का भ्रष्टाचार करती हो, वो पार्टियों को वोट देकर झारखंड का विकास नहीं हो सकता.
Addressing his second rally in Jamshedpur, Amit Shah challenged Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, asking for an account of his party's work in 10 years and what the Congress has done for Jharkhand. He said Modi government is giving houses and electricity to people.
मैं राहुल बाबा को पूछने आया हूं, भैया आप जरा झारखंड के लोगों के वोट मांगने आए हो, तनिक बता दो कि उनके घर में बिजली क्यों नहीं पहुंची थी, 70 साल तक बिजली क्यों नहीं पहुंची थी. सिर्फ इस विधानसभा के अंदर 11,400 गरीब घरों के अंदर बिजली पहुंचाने का काम ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार ने किया है.
Congress leader Rahul Gandhi held a rally in Simdega. He attacked the Jharkhand government and appealed to voters to vote for Congress. He also promised to waive farm loans if voted to power in the state.
जहां भी कांग्रेस पार्टी की सरकार आई, चाहे वो कर्नाटक, चाहे वो पंजाब, क्या छत्तीसगढ़, मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान, हमने वायदा किया था कि सही दाम मिलेगा और किसान का कर्जा माफ करके हम दिखा देंगे, और वही वायदा मैं आपको यहां करने जा रहा हूं.
Campaigning by the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha and Jharkhand Vikas Morcha has also gained momentum. The first phase of the 5-phased elections in Jharkhand took place on 30th November. The second phase will take place on 7th December. The counting will be held on 23rd December. With inputs from Ranchi Bureau, News Night Desk, DD India.
And from Jharkhand, shifting focus to down south, in Tamil Nadu, rain continued to hammer various parts of the state, including Puducherry, after leaving several districts virtually crippled over the last few days, leaving at least 25 people dead so far. Schools, however, remained closed in Chennai. Other towns remained largely submerged. However, the state government still maintains it is geared up to deal with the emerging situation. We have this ground report.
Several parts of Tamil Nadu battled heavy rains for the third day on Monday, leading to flood-like situation. Chennai, Coimbatore, neighbouring Puducherry as well as Bengaluru are badly affected. So far, at least 25 rain-related deaths have been reported in Tamil Nadu. Out of this, 17 people, including 10 women, were killed when a wall collapsed on a row of houses in Mettupalayam in Coimbatore district. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister E.K. Palnisamy has announced an ex gratia of 4 lakh rupees to the family of those deceased in the incident. Several places in Cuddalore, Nagapattinam and Thoothukudi districts have been waterlogged due to heavy rains. In Cuddalore, around 5,000 houses in low-lying areas of the coastal town have been inundated. About 500 people have been forced to leave their houses due to the situation. The heavy rain has also left several suburban areas of Chennai waterlogged, including Sholiganur, Pallavaram, Tambaram, Selayur and Koratur. Chief Minister also reviewed the heavy rain situation in the state with senior ministers of the cabinet earlier, and he asked the district administration of the rain-affected districts to immediately release the insurance amount for the farmers whose agricultural lands are flooded. The regional Met Department has predicted moderate to heavy rain for another 2 days. Fishermen have been advised to not venture into the sea at Cape Comorin, Gulf of Mannar and Lakshadweep areas.
Next 24 hours, fairly rainfall is expected to occur over southern Tamil Nadu, and scattered rainfall is expected to occur over North Tamil Nadu. Heavy to very heavy rainfall at 1 or 2 places is expected over the districts. Squally weather of the order of 40 to 50 km per hour wind is expected to occur next 2 days. So fishermen are advised not to venture into over these areas.
Meanwhile, a flood alert has been issued to people living on the banks of River Bhavani in the western Tamil Nadu has surplused in the wake of rains in the catchment areas. The water level in the lower Bhavani project reservoir reached its maximum 105 feet and the storage crossed 32 TMC feet against maximum of 32.8 TMC feet. With inputs from Chennai Bureau, News Night Desk, DD India.
And in news just in, Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba chaired a meeting of the Committee of Secretaries to review the issue of rising prices of onions across the country. In a video conference held with Chief Secretaries of 11 major onion-producing states, Cabinet Secretary was briefed about various steps being taken up by states to tackle the rising prices of onions. The Cabinet Secretary has directed states that the overall availability of onions has to be beefed up, considering the temporary shortage to stabilize the prices. Centre, meanwhile, has already taken a decision on not allowing export of onions during the current season. Rajiv Gauba said that the Union Government has approved import of 11,000 metric tons of onions from 29th of November to tide over the current situation. Meanwhile, Cabinet Secretary also directed the states to utilize their food and civil supply departments to procure and distribute onions at reasonable prices. And Mission Indradhanush 2.0 campaign started from today to speed up the vaccination campaign. The target is to ensure no child is left out of the vaccination net. This campaign is being carried out in 272 districts of 27 states and union territories. The intensive mission Rainbow 2.0 will be run in 4 phases. The first phase will run from 2nd December 2019, the second phase from 6th of January 2020, third from 3rd February 2020 and the fourth phase from 2nd March 2020. Under this campaign, the government will reach the doorsteps of children. Moving on, in Arunachal Pradesh, Indigenous Faith Day was celebrated across the state. The day marks the birth anniversary of Talum Rukbo Golgibote, the founder of Doni Poloism. It is also celebrated to honor and promote all indigenous faiths in Arunachal Pradesh. To mark the occasion, the foundation stone of an iconic Doni Polo Kumko, or the Common Prayer Hall, was laid in Pasighat. Chief Ministers of Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim were also present on the occasion. Many prominent personalities as well as spiritual leaders also graced this occasion. The prayer hall will be constructed at Pasighat to preserve, protect and revive the dying indigenous faith and belief of Tani tribe. Chief Minister Pema Khandu in his address said that the protection and promotion of the indigenous faith and tribal tradition is the need of the hour to keep ethnic identity of the local tribes. And before we wrap up, here's a quick look at the stories that we've been tracking for you from different regions of the country.
Jamaat Ulama-e-Hind has filed a review petition in Supreme Court against its ruling in Ayodhya land dispute case. This is the first review petition filed by a Muslim party against the verdict. The main grounds for the petition include wrong application of Article 142 of Indian Constitution. Bombay High Court confirmed the death sentence on 4 convicts and acquitted 1 accused in the 2013 Sonai murder case. Nasik Sessions Court in 2018 had convicted and awarded death sentence to 6 out of 7 accused in the case. Supreme Court restrains Maharashtra government and Mumbai Metropolitan Region Development Authority from cutting trees for Metro Route 4 from Wadala in Mumbai to Kasar Wadavali, Thane. Supreme Court orders status quo for 2 weeks.
And UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres urged countries not to give up in the fight against climate change as representatives from nearly 200 countries gathered in Madrid for the 2-week-long 25th Conference of Parties of UNFCCC. In this opening speech to delegates, Guterres cited recent scientific data showing that levels of heat-trapping gases have hit a record high, reaching levels not seen for at least 3 million years when sea levels were 10 to 20 meters higher than today. Unless emissions of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases are sharply cut, temperatures could rise to twice the threshold set in 2015 Paris Accord by the end of the century, he warned. And finally, India clinched 14 medals, including 3 gold, 8 silver, 3 bronze on the first day of the 13th South Asian Games. Adarsh Airmen Sinamol gave India the first gold by winning men's individual triathlon event in Pokhara in Nepal today. Sinamol compatriot Bishwajit Sirkhom took silver in 1-2 finish. Thaudam Sarojini Devi and Mohan Pragna added a silver in their kitty and a bronze in the women's individual event. Over in Taekwondo, India clinched 2 gold medals, 6 silver and 2 bronze. At the conclusion of the day today, one host Nepal was on top, winning 15 gold, 3 silver, 6 bronze. India followed Nepal in number 2 position, while Sri Lanka stood at third with 3 gold, 7 silver and 14 bronze. And with that, it's time to wrap up this edition of Newsnight. Stay with DD India, Billion Voices. Thanks. Namaskar.